The plan was to drain it Monday morning, skate it all Monday, or at least get it ready to skate. So even rub brick the brick, because it was a brick pool. Rub brick the brick, put lacquer on it, because you can skate brick coping. Uh, and then skate it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day until she comes back to the house. The only time I knew she would be there for sure was Saturday and Sunday for the open house. And my hope was to at least get 2 solid days of skating with it. So as I'm draining it, I'm fucking looking at all the pockets and spots I want to hit, everything I want to try on it. And I mean, as I'm laying in bed, I'm just dreaming up all the tricks I want to do. And it keeps me up another 30 minutes to an hour just thinking about that. I'm writing tricks down on my phone, and it's torturous, like I said. All right, I'm going to make this one quick because I have to go look for some pools in the car I'm using that lets me get good gas mileage and not worry about my car, which is older. But I'm going to make this one quick. This is the pool draining story. So there was this house that was 2 houses away from my house. It was for sale, and as I was looking at Google Earth, I kind of remembered that that house had a pool. At least I was hoping when I saw it was for sale because it looked empty, and it did. It was the house that had a pool. So I think the first time I visited it was alone. I think I walked in one day when it looked empty, and I just walked in. I was like, oh, they do have a pool. Walked to the back, looked around real quick, then got out of there. Just, get in and out to see if you can get in and out at first. Second time was with the last video, the first pool barge. Me and Turtle went to go swim in it and to feel if it was worth draining. And it was. Maybe still one day I'll drain it, even though I got caught. So it was a go. I knew I had to do it. I knew this pool had to be drained. Never drained a pool before. Everything just lined up perfectly too with the pump and all that. This is how I got the pump, actually. I remembered that from the egg pool, they had a pump there. I got the pump, and I unfortunately took it from that house, which was semi-abandoned, so it's not even like they were really there. Then I had to make sure everything was solid. I was like, the pump needs power. It needs a hose, a water hose long enough, and then I need to know where to drain it because I don't want to drain it into just someone's on the backyard, and then the whole backyard's gonna be flooded going into the neighbor's yard, and then they're gonna know something's up, or they're gonna think something's wrong. But I did finally find power. That took me a couple of days. I don't know why I didn't see the fucking outlet. It was right there in front of my face the whole time. I was even thinking it was gonna be a 2-day project to drain water there, and one day drain it in someone's yard, another day in someone else's yard, another day in someone else's yard, hoping that doesn't draw too much attention to the pool, to the house. Before I did anything, the realtor's sign where it says the house was for sale and all that, it said the realtor's name and it had her number. So I kind of wanted to reassure that she wasn't going to show up Monday. Saturday and Sunday were open house. So I thought Sunday night would be perfect because she wouldn't want to be showing up even Monday. It's 3 days in a row. So I called her Sunday morning and just acted like someone that was interested in buying the house. And I was like, hey, I just want to know if you're going to be there possibly Monday. She's like, oh, I can be there Monday. I was like, fuck. I was like, oh, well, maybe later in the week, actually, because that's when me and my I think I said family or something, can check it out. She's like, okay, just let me know. I live really close. So I was another red flag for me. I'm like, damn, that's not good. Like, maybe I don't know. She lives close. That means she can show up anytime she wants. She even said like 4 minutes away or something like that. I did say later in the week, and then she said, okay, that's fine. So whatever. Oh, no. I did find out where I was going to drain it. The day me and Turtle went, I realized they had a shower outside by the pool. They had like an outdoor shower and had a drain. So, and it'll fucking just empty out into the shower, into the shower drain. So that was the plan. Me and AG show up at night. Me and my little brother show up at night. We go in. I have everything ready in my bag and everything. We find the power. We plug it in. We throw the pump in. It starts pumping. The fucking water hose is like shooting really fast and loud. So I was like, oh damn, this is too loud. It's put in the little shower room. It was echoing out that little outdoor shower, and I knew it was too loud, and the neighbors would hear it because it's kind of a smaller backyard. We shut it off, and then a neighbor comes out, an older man, And we're in the backyard. I'm pretty sure he knows the house for sale. And we look probably looking sketchy in the middle of the night. And he's smoking a cigarette. I don't think he hears what's going on because he's smoking a cigarette. And he's just kind of walking around looking at the sky and stuff. I don't know how he didn't see us, but 5 minutes later, we're just in silence. And he finally walks inside, closes the door, and it looks like he goes to bed. Me and my little brother was like, okay. I'm looking around. And I see drains on the floor by the pool. Actually, all around the pool. And one of them is open. I could stick the hose in the drain hole, and I do that. I stick it down the drain hole, turn on the pump, and it's perfect. It's silent. Once we put the hose down the drain and it was draining, I was kind of wondering, like, where's this water going? Is it going into where the sinks and toilets go? Is it going to that drain, or is it emptying out on the street? Because if it's emptying on the street, that's 10,000 gallons of water that needs to empty out. And I live on a hill, so it would make its way just down all the way. So where I found where it emptied out, so it emptied out in the front of the house onto the lawn. And then it went down the lawn, and then it went off, because it's a hill house, so it had like this wall, and it came down off the wall into the sidewalk and then down the street. And I looked for the nearest sewer, and the nearest sewer was a ways away, and my worries on that ended up being right. The hills, the hill that the water would trail down ended up flooding in certain people's driveways and stuff. I didn't get a video of that, but I did get videos of how the street and sidewalks look. We waited an hour. We just kind of like did that, and then we left. And I wanted to see what the rate of the drain, how much it worked, and just from seeing how fast the hose was spewing out water from the pump, and seeing how much water was being drained out onto the lawn and then over into off the wall into the sidewalk. I was like, it has to be draining like 5 gallons a minute. And then you did the math, and it was like 12 to 14 hours if it was 5 gallons a minute. So me and my little brother waited an hour and then went back to see the difference, and this was it. 1 hour, I think it went like maybe an inch and a half, maybe an inch and a half, or something like that. So we started making a bet. We're like, okay, how long? At what time do you think? We did it in a 30-minute window, so you had 30 minutes to guess. So, okay, you said, well, you have a 30-minute window. So, from what time to what time? So you say 4 to 4:30 for sure.
Say 4:30 to 5.
4:30 to 5. Okay, I will say 5 to 5:30 then.
Alright.
If it's exactly at 5 that I literally pull the pump out because it just can't do any more work. Here's a bigger question. If we show up and it's like, if it's like only got like 10 gallons left, and it's 5 o'clock, and it's like pretty much almost empty, and it's 5 o'clock, and I can pull the pump out, but there's still a little bit of water, but the pump's not really doing much work, then it couldn't be considered a draw. Now, if it's after 5:30, we both lose again.
Okay. Alright.
And if it's before 4:30, then we both lose. We were like, okay, let's get some sleep. Let's not be up all night waiting for this thing, because it's going to take a lot of hours. I fell asleep. I put an alarm for every 3 hours to wake me up so I can go check on it. Cause maybe the pump might break. Maybe, I don't know, something happens. So 3 hours later, I go back to the house, and then it's another couple inches. Or I think at this point it was like a foot. 3 hours later. I take videos of how the water looks on the sidewalk, on the street, and all that, and I follow it to see if there's any flooding or anything that looks too noticeable. So I go back home after that. That first 3 hours didn't seem too bad. I go home, knock out for another 3 hours, and I go back at 6 a.m. So I went back at 3 a.m. and then the second time I went back was at 6 a.m. At 6 a.m. the sun was starting to come, or the sun, or yeah, the sun was already kind of like up. It was already grayish, and it was like at least 2 feet down, something like that. And then the street was starting to look a little flooded. Certain people's driveways were looking like when they're driving out, they're gonna have to drive through a puddle, a decent sized puddle. But it was Monday, and I did it on a Monday too because I was hoping that everyone would just be too fogged in the days, just kind of like in a bad mood to go to work, so they didn't want to deal with anything. That was my hope, and I think that angle worked right. But what I noticed when I went at 6 was that there was one of the neighbors was in the car just like sitting, and they were like right there. They could see the whole thing. They could see the water coming down and then going on a sidewalk. And then I noticed the realtor sign was right there too, and it had her number. I was like, what if someone sees, if not this person, someone sees that the water's draining, and then they call the realtor to tell her, and she'll come here, and she only lives 4 minutes away, so that would be an immediate bust. So I got tape, and I taped over the realtor sign over her number specifically. So I went back home after that, and then I slept for another 3 hours. And then me and my bro, and I woke him up at this point, and we both got ready, and we went to the house. And it was pretty low, but we still had like about 30% of water left to drain out. And we're just staring at it like, man, this thing's taking a lot longer than we thought. We both lost the bet. It was already like 11, 10, 30, 11. And we're just there hanging out. Yeah, so we're chilling there. And guess who comes in? The fucking realtor. She runs in and she's like, what's going on? Why are you guys here? And my little brother, even though he looked hilarious because his back was to her, I saw her come in. He just ended up hearing her behind him and then was looking up at her, and he looked afraid, but he thought quick. He was like, "Oh, we saw it was draining onto the street, all this water coming out, and we just came back here to check it out." She looked so confused and unsure and flustered that I could tell she was like confused about what was going on. And I remember her saying, she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to call the owner of the house, and he's gonna have to pay a lot of money to fill it back up." And I didn't know that. I thought it was just water. I thought you just leave a water hose in there for like a day, but no, I heard it takes like 2 to 3 days, and the water bill is like thousands of dollars. And this is a smaller pool, so it'd probably be like 1 to 2 thousand, I think. But either way, at that time I didn't know it was that expensive, or else I probably wouldn't have done it because that's a lot of money, and that puts me more at risk being a neighbor draining it. So we got caught and we were worried because I lived couple houses away. So we're there, we're just like, and then her husband walks in and he's looking around. He kind of looks at us like kind of sketched out at first, but they don't say anything. Maybe they knew that we drained it, but they just saw us as kids and maybe knew we were going to skate it. I don't know. But we got out of there. Like, I don't know how we got out. We were just like, we just kind of backed away and we're like, oh, that's crazy. Like, whoa, we're going to get out of here. And then we just kind of like, as soon as we got to the front, we ran to my car, even though I live right there. We ran to my car, got in and took off. I was like, we can't go back all day. They're probably going to be figuring that out all day and I don't want to be seen. And then I'm worrying about like all the other neighbors that have cameras, seeing me go back and forth from my house, which is only 2 houses away, my house to that house. Maybe someone saw me. They're going to recognize me. I know my neighbors, so except for obviously that house. So now I'm worried. I'm driving around. Honestly, I had nothing else to do. Me and my brother were just kind of like on the lam, and I'm just like, let's just go look for pools. So we're going to all these addresses I have, and we're looking around. And I have this in the back of my head. I'm worrying about it, and these are some of the pools we found.
Oh, with water.
No, ya tengo bastante. 2 years, 3 years. I was looking into it so I can build it up again.
Oh, really? Is it expensive?
Yeah. Nomás que-
Around, and I'm looking into backyards and looking at pools and stuff. And we go into this abandoned house that was actually kind of scary. Is there a restroom there? I gotta use it. But then I finally made the choice driving around. I parked. I was with my little bro, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to text her. Not from my number. I got one of those like fake texting apps you can get, and it gives you like a number. And I texted her. I had her number because I did call her, remember, to make sure that she wasn't, or hope, I didn't know why she was there on a Monday. But maybe someone called her. I don't know. I don't know to this day how she found out or why she showed up. What was the reason why she had to show up on a Monday morning? Yeah, I texted her saying, hey, look, I just want to let you know we're really sorry about the pool. We just wanted to skate it. We're not trying to break in. We weren't trying to do anything. And she said, don't come back or else I'll call the police. I said, no, we won't go back. I reassured her. That's basically it. And then now I'm worried about it a little bit still because she's only next door, and what if I run into her and she recognizes us and knows that was us too? But I wanted to put her mind at ease. I don't want her, like, that's why I texted her. I told a few friends and they're like, why would you text her? I'm like, I live 2 houses away. I'd rather her know that this is for skating rather than someone trying to fuck with the house or who knows what she was thinking about. And I think it worked because I don't think she tried doing any investigating with the neighbors' cameras and stuff like that.